Yo guys, Neb here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys a full guide on qualifying for Chapter 3 Season 2 Duo FNCS. This video specifically focuses on getting you guys from Round 1 into Round 2, so make sure you guys bear that in mind. And also I'm going to be making more videos in the future on how you guys can get into the finals and later rounds in the tournament, so stay tuned for all of that. Before we get into it guys, I just want to say all the timestamps will be along the timeline, so check them out. If you know something already, feel free to skip along. And yeah guys, enjoy the video. Also drop a comment because I reply to all of you guys as well. So yeah, enjoy. So looking at the compete tab, to begin with, we're going to be looking over the format. So as you can see here, there's 3 qualifiers, each with their own rounds, from the open round 1 all the way to 4 being the finals. So if we look at FNCS qualifier 1, as you can see here, going on to tournament details, it's a lot easier to make round 2 than it ever has been, with top 2,000 duos on EU, NA and Brazil going into round 2. And then it goes down to top 1,000 duos for Asia and Middle East, with only top 500 duos going into round 2 on OCE. If we look below, as you can see here, the point system is exactly the same as in the Duo Cash Cups, which means it's going to be very easy to predict your points needed to qualify into round 2 by looking at the Duo Cash Cups. So guys, now that I've talked about the format, now I want to show you guys exactly how you want to be playing out your games in order to qualify for round 2. Since you now don't need to place anywhere near as high to qualify for round 2, it's a lot easier and it's a slight different way you guys want to be playing your games. Obviously, because you don't have to place as high, you obviously need less points, and that means you can go for more risky plays as you can qualify in fewer games. One thing that catches most players off guard in FNCS Opens is the sheer stackness of the games. You could literally have 2 points and still get into a 40 player moving. It's ridiculous. The biggest problem that most players have in every FNCS, especially in round 1, is adapting to the tournament style too late in, instead of doing it before the tournament starts. What I mean by this is make sure you're ready for stacked games, because they will be stacked. Don't let yourself get caught off guard at the start of the tournament and waste games. Because games are very stacked throughout, from game 1 all the way through to game 10, it can often be quite difficult going into the tournament without having already played some customs on the same day. So beforehand, I would recommend playing at least 2 very stacked customs to get your mindset into the tournament mentality, as you're bound to make mistakes if you're going from absolutely nothing to playing 3 hours of straight end games. In terms of how you should be playing out all your games, make sure to loot up very fast in the early game so that you can drive around the map in the mid game and search for launch pads in supply drops. Doing this will give you a much higher chance of making sure you get that guaranteed top 3, and you only need a couple games like that in order to qualify. In terms of how many points you guys are going to need to qualify for round 2 on your region, the following goes as stands on the screen. So for Europe, it's going to be 105 points to qualify, judging by the last Cash Cup and how much more people have got into champs by FNCS. On Brazil, it's going to be a max of 20 points, as by looking at all of the Brazilian Cash Cups this season, there hasn't even been 2,000 players. So all the Brazilians out there, you might as well just click off the video. You guys don't need tips because your grandmas could literally qualify. Now for NA East, it's going to be around 90 points to qualify. And for the neighbouring NA West, it's going to be around 40 points. However, it's very hard to predict because there literally is hardly anyone playing these Cash Cups. Now for the smaller regions, and all these predictions will be 100% guaranteed to qualify you into round 2. We've got Asia with 78, 96 points for Middle East, and 85 points to qualify on OCE for top 500. However, all of these results on the screen will have a standard deviation of plus or minus 3, as I can only predict from the Duo Cash Cups, which have a lot less stacked games and a lot less people tryharding. So guys, with the points to qualify being a lot lower than normal, you're only going to need a few good games to qualify. Now I'm going to be talking about some in-game tips that you guys are going to be using in order to get those few good games. To begin with, I want to talk about how overpowered trucks are in the current meta within endgame. You can literally go through the first and second moving without taking any damage, as they literally break through any builds without any momentum, even a full metal box. If you need surge, which you will do in these stacked lobbies, then it's really easy to just grab a truck and run through a duo's box, and you can easily catch them off guard and get a couple hundred damage. The reason why it's also a good idea to have it in the end game is because it's really hard to get shot out of it. unless you're going into a player, it's really difficult to get beamed, unlike other cars in the game. I wouldn't recommend adding tyres to the trucks, as when people see it, they just have a bigger urge to shoot them for some reason, so just use the normal truck on its own. And the only real way to get it into endgame with max health is either carry a blowtorch in order to repair it if it gets tagged, and also box up on hills where people are less likely to focus you, and make sure you've got a full refarmable brick which you can box around the car, get all your brick back up, and chill for the rest of the game. One other thing that's very overpowered, which is going to help you guys tremendously, is using the drum shotgun with a pre-edit. Because you only need a few good games to qualify, if you don't have the loot before half and half or moving zones, you need to go for refreshes to ensure that you're going to make the best out of your games. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is with a pre-edit and a drum shotgun, which is very frowned upon within the community, with loads of people hating on it. However, when you're up in someone's face, it can be really overpowered, and it does a good amount of damage if you're right up close. If you're a placement warrior and you're somebody who doesn't like fighting, going for refreshes, then I recommend one person on your team carrying a harpoon, and this is because you can get long distance kills before the end game with, say, a combat SMG or an AR, and then you can harpoon all the loot, and it's a lot safer than going up close and going for those refreshes. If you're watching this video after a week has already passed of FNCS, then I recommend going back onto the leaderboard and finding a team that has qualified with a similar playstyle to yourself. And in terms of self-practice, I recommend going onto Twitter and dropping a follow with notifications onto Noble Practice, where they give out invites to Discord servers such as Noble Div 3 and other good Scrim Discord servers where you guys can practice. So guys, that's been it for this video. If you haven't already, then don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. All the views recently on the channel have been absolutely insane, so I thank you guys so much for that. And yeah guys, thanks for watching the video.
Ayo Parrish, this shit hot, boy.